Personally, I don't like
what
sleeping
we
on
want,
the couch.
and we don't want to settle for what we didn't want. There's this amazing body of research out there right now called Mindset, and it's done by Dr. Carol Dweck. She's out of California, and she examined what it was that made successful people successful. And one of the things that she noticed was there is this perspective that they had of the world that shaped how they saw things. And so she broke it down into two different mindsets. One was called a fixed mindset, and one was a growth mindset. So,
and sometimes they can cross over, but anyway, this is important because I tend to have been raised and developed more of a fixed mindset in certain areas, where my wife has always had a growth mindset, which has created sometimes conflict even in our relationship, as I have had to learn how to challenge myself to develop into more of a growth area. So for a fixed mindset, I want to avoid challenges. I want to avoid anything that may cause any discomfort or pain or aggravation, any of those areas that just might create a little bit too much requirement of me.
Or if you face an obstacle in your relationship, then I give up.
Let me just go ahead and have a beer or hot chocolate or something like that instead of really having to deal with it. And the effort is pointless. Yeah, why bother?
Why even bother trying to work this out? It's not going to work. It's why even try? If I have to work at it, it's not worth it.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't meant to be.
Right.
And if there's a mistake, there's no crawling out of this.
Quite often, one mistake that I would have caused what I've done in the past would have just made me just want to walk away and say, nobody's ever going to look at me the same way again. Yeah. My relationship is shot with whatever that person is that I'm dealing with.
That fixed
They're going to disrespect
person,
me. Yeah. They're not going to ever hold me up in the same esteem.
It's the one that's going to go around going, loser. I'm such a loser.
Yeah.
Because they just can't deal with the mistakes. Then you have what's called the growth mindset. And the growth mindset person says, okay, it's a challenge. Let's face into this challenge and let's make it through.
You know, through my interaction with my wife, she has actually helped me to embrace challenges more. She's helped me to see that there's greater possibility out there, but you can't stay stagnant. You actually have to kind of sometimes fight yourself to do what's necessary to grow.
And when it gets difficult, and you do get those challenges and those setbacks, you keep pushing forward. You like, okay, this is a step back, but let's go forward. It's gotta keep moving. And if I work hard, things can get better. It's that belief that you can improve the way things are. And if I make a mistake, I can't undo the mistake. They're going to happen.
Don't you think mistakes are healthy? I think they are, because when you quite often is when you take a good look at it, you're thinking sometimes that error here is only going to challenge me to do this to correct what's going on, and maybe just maybe I will find a solution at the end of the road.
You know, and the thing is too is when you have those mistakes, if you learn from a mistake, you're not likely to repeat it.
Right.
So let's take a look at mindset in a relationship. I'll lead off with the fixed mindset person. A fixed mindset person in a relationship just imagines that they're going to find their Prince Charming or their Sleeping Beauty or their Snow White, and it's going to be instant, it's perfect, it's perpetual compatibility, and there will never be anything that will shatter that. It's Hollywood. It's everything Hollywood wants us to believe.
When we were getting married, that's how I saw everything. I like that picture.
I know, but this fixed mindset person is not prepared for this. When this occurs, the fixed mindset person is shattered, and they can't put it back together again.
Right. Well, we weren't quite like that, but I was really rather surprised when all of a sudden we got tons and tons and tons of baby clothes for the first child. And I said, why do we need all of those clothes? And she says, you get it. You don't get it at all, do you? And I said, no, what do we need half of them? Let's take them back. And then all of a sudden we were changing babies 3 or 4 times a day. I learned very quickly.
Life happens. But then you have the growth mindset. And it's that whole, we're going to grow old together. And that's going to include, the fairy tale wedding and the arrival of kids and, those golden years when it just comes down to the two of us. And you can tell that the couple starting out and the couple later on, there's
what I love
so
about
much that goes on.
Is we see them aging, but I never feel like I age, which is more of a growth mindset, I think, because I always see myself as eternally young, which means I see the possibilities out there of what I could be doing and the fun that we could be having in a relationship all the way through it.
Absolutely. And so there are some myths that go with a fixed mindset. And this is a big one amongst many young people today. If you have to work at it, then it just wasn't meant to be. And so there's this tendency to simply walk away from relationships if it gets hard. You've heard the term starter marriage. Oh, this is just my starter marriage. And it's just such a tragedy that people even go down. And
and it's this one especially for the newer generations, they quickly want to just brush things by and sometimes not deal. And if we could just realize that everything does take work. And here's this story, okay? If I get this moment. There was a friend of ours who questioned her mother because Liz Taylor, blessed memory now, Liz was going into her 7th marriage. And she had said, the young girl says, I guess she just didn't feel anything for her husband anymore, or all her husbands, to get to this point. And the mom quips back at this young lady. She says, wait a minute, stop right there. She says, you and your father and I have only had one marriage. But you know what made it work? What made it work was the fact that we worked at it. That there were times in the relationship that we didn't always feel the best towards each other, but we decided to challenge it and work through it and make it happen instead of just saying, I'm done with you, I'll move on to the next. Because those are roadblocks. But this couple lived together happily and unhappily sometimes when you think about it, but they challenged it and they made it work, and they set an example, for these children to emulate.
And then another thing that happens is in a fixed mindset is if there are problems in a relationship, then I must have picked out somebody flawed. Surprise!
Hi, she got me.
We're all flawed.
Hello.
We're all flawed.